Thank you, Mr. Kent. Next up for 7 minutes, Mr. Angus.
Chair, Brittany Kaiser testified this past week at the UK, and she said, when I joined Cambridge Analytica, AIQ was our exclusive digital and data engineering partner. Mr. Massingham, is that correct?
I can't speak to that.
Well, is it correct? Can you say it's
I don't know if it's correct or not. They worked with a number of different contractors.
No, Cambridge Analytica says AIQ was our exclusive digital and data engineering partner. So is AIQ the exclusive data and engineering partner of Cambridge Analytica?
No.
No, okay. Chris Vickery says AIQ is the data digital development team for SCL Canada and Cambridge Analytica. Mr. Massingham, is that true?
No.
Okay. Christopher Wiley says that you are a franchise operation of Cambridge Analytica and SCL. Is that true?
No.
Okay. Mr. Wiley says that when he was appointed at Cambridge Analytica, that he said, we need a Canadian office, and he went to Alexander Nix, and he says, there's a couple of Canadians I want to hire. And then he said that the group was set up as SCL Canada, but they had a Canadian entity, and that legal name was Aggregate IQ. Is that correct?
No.
Okay. He said one of the reasons that they set this up was that it was very useful to keep the company at arm's length. It was useful, he said, particularly for American projects where you need different entities to work on campaigns and PACs and various other entities where you cannot necessarily coordinate, but if you have different companies, the paperwork looks appropriate and the paperwork compliance, even if behind the scenes you're talking back and forth and using the same underlying technology. Is that correct?
Sorry, what was the question?
The question is, he said that they were set up to keep you at arm's length because it was useful in order to make sure that the paperwork compliant, particularly with American projects.
I don't believe that's correct.
Okay. So up until March 2017, SCL had a phone that went directly to you, Mr. Massingham, as their head of SCL Canada. Is that correct?
It's come to my knowledge that that was the case.
Okay. How do you get a phone that's from a UK office that goes directly to you? If you're not, like, did the phone ever ring?
No.
Okay.
It was Mr.
It was my personal phone.
Yeah.
It was your personal phone. So SCL had that. Christopher Wiley also testified that you guys have been very careful about being technically precise, but that you were, quote, using weasel words. Would that be correct?
I don't believe so, no.
No, you wouldn't. I guess what I'm wondering here is that everyone else must be involved in an amazing conspiracy against you, Mr. Massingham. They're accusing you of being a part of Cambridge Analytica, which you said you didn't know existed until during the Nigeria campaign. Mr. Wiley said he helped set you up, which you said isn't true. SCL Canada lists you as their head of Canada services, which you say is not true. You had a phone that went directly to you. So why is everybody against you, Mr. Massingham?
I'm not sure. I can only speak to the work that we do at Aggregate IQ and that what Jeff and I have done together.
I guess because that takes me back to the question of the Brexit campaign, which the question is this is a spectacular success story of, again, this unknown company above a optometrist shop in Victoria that got all those campaigns, all that money, coordinated it. They said that you were set up as a proxy money laundering campaign. Is that true, Mr. Massingham?
No.
You know, the great thing about being in Parliament, when you speak at our committee, it's parliamentary privilege. You can't be sued for what you say, Mr. Massingham. They can't use it against you in court. So I'm not sure why you expect us to believe that all these people are making stuff up about you when you could just explain to us why you were set up with SCL and what your direct role is with SCL and Cambridge Analytica, because the idea that this is all a series of isolated companies that had nothing to do with each other, you didn't know each other, you just happened to be working on all the same projects, and you are listed as SCL Canada. Why don't you just tell us what you're covering up for SCL Canada, Mr. Massingham? Why are you taking the fall for these guys?
We're not taking the
Mr.
fall for
Massingham
anyone.
is listed. You're not listed as the head of SCL Canada. Mr. Massingham is. I want to know how that happens.
Mr. Angus, I can't speak to what marketing materials they've put out or what they do with my contact information, but I can tell you we are not a part of SCL or Cambridge Analytica.
Really? Okay. So I would suggest then that there's been an incredible international fraud perpetrated here against you, Mr. Massingham, that I look at your name and it's the head of SCL Canada by a reputable British company that's been involved in all kinds of international work, that they had a phone that led right to you. Were you aware? When did you become aware that SCL had a phone that went directly to you?
It wasn't until recently that this was brought up in the press that I was even aware of that.
Okay.
Like I said, we're separate companies.
Okay. So I want to get then back to the issue that brought us here, the issues that came out of the Brexit campaign, that they're accusing you of being an electoral money laundering machine. And one of the key elements of that is your role with Believe and the £625,000 that went directly through this marginal students group into your operation and then was used in the last 6 days of the Brexit campaign. Do you think that that may have affected the result? Because that's what they're saying in the United Kingdom.
I can't speak to what effect it might have had. I only know what Believe asked us to do and place their ads, and that's what we did.
Did you have any concerns at any time that it might be illegal? Because Mr. Wiley said he particularly approached you, actually Mr. Sylvester, here's a chance for you to answer. He approached you and he said that you thought it was all quite amusing and that you said it was totally illegal. So Mr. Sylvester, why did you say it was totally illegal?
I don't think I ever said to Mr. Wiley that what was happening was totally illegal, as I mentioned to you earlier.
You're on the record here, right?
I understand
Mr.
that.
Wiley's going to come and he's going to say that you did say it. He's already said it on testimony, so
Yeah.
just fess up. Did you say it was totally illegal?
Mr. Angus, we're trying to provide you all the information that we have and to be as helpful as possible to give everything we know about what is true. That's what we're continuing to do. And how Mr. Wiley came to the misunderstanding about what I had said, I don't know how he came to that misunderstanding. When I heard about it in the press, I believed it was a misunderstanding. I sent a text to Mr. Wiley to ask him to talk about it.
It wasn't a lie. It was just a misunderstanding that you said something was totally
I don't
illegal.
know why he's saying it, Mr. Angus. I only know what we've done and the work we've done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Angus. Next up for 7 minutes, Mr.